Well met, lords and ladies, and welcome to the Throne Room. This is episode 5 of the video game podcast that may forever change your fealty. I'm your host, David Klingel, and I am joined by my other noble, button-mashing, hating, noob-eliminating co-host, Anre Borges Brown.
Hello, all.
Touchdown. All right, well, how are we doing this week, buddy? Anything new? What's going on? What you playing?
Pretty good. Nothing major, nothing new. The show came out. Been playing that.
Oh yeah, okay.
It is. I think as far as sports games go, I think it's up there with 2K as far as like being super realistic. I think it's even. Okay. I think it's better than 2K actually. 2K is a basketball game for those that do not know. The show is a baseball game for those that do not know. There is something impressive about how the show replicates how difficult it is to hit a ball and a pitch. Hitting a baseball is difficult, and pitching is difficult too. But I mean, not even so much pitching, but hitting. It is you watch the game and you're like, if you've never played baseball, at least you're like, oh, why can't you just hit the ball or oh, come on, that's way outside. How can't you know that? And you're playing the game, and this is just a video game, and so you're just right there, and that ball comes at you 94 miles an hour, and you swing at it, and it turns out that it's like 3 inches above the strike zone, and you're like, oh, okay, well, that was dumb. I made my character take a dumb swing. So I think that, like, as far as playing the computer, and really another person, a user, but as far as playing the computer, it's one of the toughest games out there, man. Especially when you haven't played it for a while, because you have to like get your eyes back into seeing pitches, and you have to keep doing it over and over and over again. And they do a good job of replicating these pitches, man. Fastball, curveball, slider, etc. So I'm just getting back into the swing of that, trying to figure out how to play that game without embarrassing myself.
Okay.
Played Madden. Obviously, I actually played the Super Bowl in my league. I was in this particular version of the league. I won the first 2 Super Bowls, and along the way, I beat the second best user, and in both. And this time, he met me in the Super Bowl because he switched over to the AFC, and he beat me this time. Beat me.
Wow! I cannot.
Yeah.
Well, one, really quick, I can't even believe that you just said that to everyone. I can't even believe that you actually mentioned it. Wow, okay. Dang, a loss? I can't believe it.
It happens, man. It happens. I lost by 7. I couldn't stop the run. It's very annoying in Madden. Madden actually has a problem, man. It really does. Like, I don't want to, complain too much, but in Madden 20, the champion, like, Madden puts their own tournament on, and there's an ultimate, like, Madden champion that year. The Madden champion, and there's a whole bunch of tournaments and leagues and stuff, but, like, the ultimate one, the one that they put on, the Madden 20 champion won the game without passing. And
wow.
For those of you that know football, that's not good. Your game should be better than that, to where this guy all this guy has to do is spam run, and he doesn't even have to put the ball in the air once. You don't put the ball in the air, you're not going to get picked off. So it's just easier to win if you just run for a first down every time. You just keep doing that. And so it got better this year, but there's just too many times where a guy can, just pick a simple inside zone, and it's not his fault, because if in a video game, the way I see it, you should always most people are going to take the path of least resistance. In a competitive game, even in real life, if you keep doing something and it keeps working, there's no reason for you to not continue to do that.
Yeah,
there's just no reason. So he did what he had to do, and I tried.
Which kind of like what you told
him,
us in most fighting games. Like I remember we were playing DBFZ with you and Zach, and you'd use Frieza and you'd keep shooting lasers at us and push us in the corner and keep hurting us. And well, you're like, well, if you don't do anything about it, I'm going to keep doing it because it's working. And then that taught us how to be better and how to work towards doing things like that. So yeah, I agree. If anyone's going to do anything and it might suck, it might seem cheap as hell, but if you're letting them do it,
the difference, the only difference is the game has to give you an avenue. It has to give you an avenue to stop that. You know, there are avenues that I was teaching you that concept, right? Of, you know, keep going back to, you know, path of least resistance. But I was also teaching you how to stop it because you just weren't going to live unless you figured it out. And you did. Zach did, you know, so, you know, I like Frieza when I'm teaching people DBFZ because he's a good, you know, he's like the world's most interesting man when he's like, I'm not a lover. He's like, I'm not a fighter. I'm a lover, but I'm also a fighter. So I'm getting the ideas. Frieza's like, he's long range. He's not close range, but then once you get close, he's also close range. So like, you can't really get up on him. Like, don't try it. You know, just because he's back there shooting lasers and rocks and shit, don't think that you just run up on him.
Yeah.
He's not about that life. But yeah, so, you know, shout out to the guy that beat me, Fee Baby on Twitch, I believe. He streamed it, got some views. That was nice. He streamed the ass whoopings he took too before. So,
well, that's good.
You know, so, you know, hey, he's an equal opportunity streamer. You know, he didn't just, you know, stream the games he thinks he can win. You know, and yeah, the other two games I blew him out, and this one a freaking close game the whole way. Yeah, and when you're wrap this up, but when you're as good as me, and most users don't give you any trouble, you are not used to being in a close game. And so when you're in a close game, you really don't even, you know, it's like, oh man, I don't know how to act. The computer's not going to give me a close game. 90% of the users aren't going to give me a close game, so it's tough. But yeah.
Well, what did you feel about the L? Was it still at least fun because it was a close game? Did you have a good time?
Oh yeah, it was fun. Yeah. It was fun. You know, I consider, you know, most people think this is you know, kind of like madness, but I role play when I play Madden. So what I mean by that is I'm pretending like I'm the coach. And so if I get excited or angry, it's all fun. Because, like, I'm just pretending that I'm the coach out there.
Yeah. Okay.
You know?
That's a good way to do it.
Certain people don't understand that when you're just freaking yelling at the TV and they think that you've gone insane. But I'm like, you know, hey, this is just part of the role-playing experience.
Yeah, this is
just
I'm the start of my acting
as
career.
The coach. Yeah, exactly, you know? Except I'm really freaking angry because, you know, catch the ball when it's, you know, 2nd and 7 and I throw it to you. And you're supposed to be a tight end, so you're supposed to be able to catch over the middle. Catch the ball. Don't let some weak. He didn't even get hit sticked. He just dropped it. Anyway, I'm getting too specific.
Yeah, well, I don't know what half of these things mean, Anre, and I am glad that I don't have these video game problems.
Oh, man, you don't want these problems.
I don't want them. Yeah, so I'm going to stay away from those sports games, but I'm glad that you enjoy them. I mean, NBA Jam, that's about as far as I'll go. That game is amazing, so I'll play NBA Jam all day. But
I also we played we played in Orlando.
Yeah, it was some ass. We whooped their ass. Yeah,
we did. I mean, generally speaking, when me and David are on the same team, it's not going to go well for the other team.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how it works. I did play a little bit of the Resident Evil 8 demo. Did not die yet. I assume that's how it ends. I don't know. Okay. I assume somebody comes and kills you. It's very atmospheric. It's very creepy. There's a lot of stuff going on. The graphics are nice. I actually like kind of got stuck before I moved on. But like there's this creepy door with this nun's face on it and these creepy babies, like 3 babies holding on to her. And I have to find a way to get through that door. Okay, so I have to explore. You're in like this mansion. First you start off in a dungeon. Okay. So you have to kind of escape that very creepy dungeon. You do not want to be in there. I've been in a lot of video game dungeons, okay?
And this is not one to fuck with,
I'm
right?
sure most of you have, right? I mean, That's how you start a lot of games. That's how I started Dragon Quest 11. I started Skyrim in captivity. That's how a
Most
lot
great
of games
stories are
started.
told. Yeah.
And yeah,
Have you run into any
started a lot of
zombies
video
or
game
anything?
dungeons. No, I didn't run into a soul yet.
Wow.
Not yet. It's just creepy, atmospheric. I've heard footsteps.
Okay.
I turned around and I'm like, all right.
So you haven't found a weapon or anything like that yet? Just
I found some bolt cutters, I use them to cut bolts.
Staple.
So I don't think I can use them as a weapon, actually.
Yeah, maybe one day. Usually it's been in a lot of. It was in the last one, Biohazard. You get some bolt cutters. They're in your inventory, and you can open certain chains on doors and whatnot. It's kind of like a Metroidvania type thing where you get a new thing that'll take you to a new area.
Areas you couldn't access before. Yeah.
So if it's anything like Biohazard, that's probably going to be very similar for this one.
This might shock you, and this might shock our audience, but I've never played a Resident Evil game.
Ooh, okay, I'm shocked.
Yeah, you look shocked. You're about to do that thing I don't like.
And then I kept myself from doing it. You want to explain to the audience what that thing is we do?
Yeah, you know how when you say you haven't seen something or done something or something, and people would just go, "What?" Like you're just like they didn't teach it in school. Yeah. Like everybody doesn't have to have played Resident Evil. Like it's not like you don't know who the president was.
All right, let's just real quick. Let's try it again. Go ahead and say that thing that I can't believe you just said real quick, and then
Well, you might not know this, and the audience might not know this, but I've never actually played a Resident Evil game.
What? No, that's the thing he hates, and I prevented it this time.
Stand it.
Yeah.
Because what I like to do is I like to find the most obscure thing that I know you haven't played or done, and ask you if you've played it, and then when you say no, I go what?
Can you try?
Really?
Can you try?
Yeah. Have you ever watched Grave of the Fireflies?
Okay, now wait a second. And when you do, it seems like your mic's breaking up because maybe it's a little too loud for the input. Try to a little lower on the volume so we can fully hear how you say it. So okay, go ahead.
Have you ever watched Grave of the Fireflies?
No. What? That was much better. It still broke a little bit, but we got the idea. Man. Yeah, and then now you feel better about yourself, right?
Yeah, I can do that for 15 more seconds.
It feels good when you do it, right? Yeah.
It does.
Especially when you're sticking it back to us, yeah.
Now you know how it feels.
Yeah.
Now you know how it feels,
Okay, well, I'm looking forward to...
Some people haven't played these things or watched these things, so just chill.
Yeah, just relax. Help them watch it. Don't chastise them for not having yet. Come on, everyone has a life. Everyone gets to stuff on their own terms.
I'm not a horror movie guy. I'm not a horror game guy. That's really the long and short of it. I'm really I feel like other types of movies, shows, and games are just better. And I feel like now I feel like those genres have gotten worse because there's a lot of jump scares instead of legit scares. I feel like back in the day, the horror flicks like Nightmare on Elm Street, Child's Play,
classics.
Yeah,
those were scary.
Do not like Child's Play.
Oh,
pretty much anything is scary if you watch it when you're 8 years old. When I watched Child's Play, but don't let your children watch
Jaws,
a movie about a killer doll, and then go to sleep with a whole bunch of stuffed animals and shit.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Don't do that.
That's not playing. That's not playing fair.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to checking out the new Resident Evil. I'm really excited to play that when I get a PS5. All right. Well, I'm not going to take that long. But I recently got the COVID shot, the first vaccine. I thought I'd mention that. I haven't died yet, so that's nice. And, it wasn't too bad. I didn't get any sickness or anything. My arm was pretty sore the next day, and the day after it was pretty sore. So that's about all that happened. So I got another little bit of time, and then I'll go take my second one, and I should be good for a while. And then other than that, I watched the new Mortal Kombat movie last night.
Mortal Kombat!
Yeah, it was good. And the critics didn't give it very high ratings. The users seem to have loved it. And as far as the critics are concerned, I don't know what the hell do you want out of a Mortal Kombat movie anyway. So it's fighting and death, and that's a Mortal Kombat movie. I thought it was great. So yeah, very good. Check that out if you can. It was a great Mortal Kombat movie. And then other than that, still playing some Ghost Runner. I'm at the end of it now. I'm about to beat the game. And I'm looking forward to getting into hardcore mode and seeing how hardcore it is. Because I feel like it's a hard game, but now it's starting to get pretty easy for me. Even at the end here, things are seeming more difficult and whatnot, but I've just gotten so good at and I think that's what the gameplay, the loop, and what you're supposed to do. And I think that's what they were expecting, but now I'm looking forward to really get in the heat of it for the hardcore mode, and because they add more enemies, they change the placement up of enemies so it's more difficult, and it just sounds really crazy. So I'm looking forward to checking that out when we get to it.
Yeah, looking forward to seeing your progression.
Yeah, I'll show you. I'll ghost run it. All right, so last episode we discussed a bunch of great titles. But Red Dead Redemption 2 got me reminiscing on the excellent narrative of a game and how it could make for a great film. Which then got me to thinking a lot of great movies that turned into some pretty terrible games and vice versa. So this week seemed like a perfect time to talk about movies that shouldn't be games and games that should be movies. What do you think? You excited for this topic?
I'm excited for this conversation. I have a lot of things to say scattershot. And just I want to make an opening statement.
Okay.
Because I think that before we go into these hypotheticals, we should acknowledge, or I should acknowledge at least, what I think, and that is that what makes a game great, a lot of games, especially ones with great story, can't, or it's, I don't want to say can't, but it's difficult to work as a movie. Movie is generally 2 to 3 hours long, right? Sometimes a little bit.
Games much
shorter.
Longer. Yeah.
Games are much longer. The narrative is built over a longer period of time. Even short games, your 8 to 10 hour story driven games. That's very long. You're not going to sit in a freaking movie theater for 8 to 10 hours. Unless you're doing a marathon of like the Lord of the Rings or something. But that's more than one movie. But yeah, so the things that make great games great and the things that make movies great are just kind of different, and it's a difficulty. I think that's why a lot of movie games in the past have failed, because it's kind of hard to take this expansive thing, this expansive story, this expansive lore, and pare it down to 2 hours and say, hey, this is it. But when it is good, and a lot of the movies kind of don't the great video game movies kind of don't have that expansive lore. We'll talk about some, but it's kind of like small, and then they can expand it into a movie. And I think that works better than taking a 10 or 12 hour story and paring it down into a movie. Having said that, let's look at some times where it worked, some times where it didn't work, some times where it would work, some times where it won't work.
Love it. And a little thing to add there, I think what really makes a great movie and a video game adaptation, where the two really work the best together, right, is when they're not trying to be a direct copy of one another, right? Where you're not trying to make a game that's exactly like the movie, and you're not trying to make a movie that's exactly like the game. When the game or the movie is based in the same universe, but kind of doing its own thing and just building off of it and having its own little story and just using the lore and whatnot, that's where it really works. So, and there's a couple we'll touch on there, but that's what I think you need to be a great movie or a great video game that are based off of one another. Yes. So first off, I wanted to mention a movie that everyone has likely seen. Fantastic movie, oldie but a goodie, 1993 Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, so we're going with the crappy one first.
Hey, I love this movie, man. All right, now I know a lot of
people.
Yeah, so hey, I know a lot of people gave this movie flack. But I thought it was an amazing movie for my 6-year-old mind, okay? So,
Okay.
I don't know when you watched it, but when I watched it was when it came out, and I loved it. Now, the thing that I think I really liked about it that maybe a lot of other people didn't was that it was Mario, but it was done in a more mature way, right? So it was almost like Mario for adults. And, it wasn't the game, but there was beauty in it. And it took a franchise that you loved, and it did something different and really special with it. That's what I think. So
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had that one too.
You just thought differently of it, huh?
Yeah,
Okay.
as an example of an abomination to media.
What? No. Okay. We got to stop this conversation.
First of all, Mario and Luigi Mario are apparently their names.
Yeah.
We learned that in the great cinematic triumph that is Super Mario Brothers. Not only is this game or this movie terrible, it is the movie that got Nintendo to say, "Hey, no more movies based on our
Did
game."
they?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Legit. Look it up. They're like, you know what? This is so. I don't know if the makers of that game ever played Mario. I don't know.
The makers of that movie? Is that what you meant?
The makers of that movie.
Yeah.
Thank you. Ever played Mario? I look at that and I'm like, the connection between the game and the movie is tenuous at best.
Man, it was great. Those jumping boots. All right, those were awesome, man. And the fungus, dude, I love the fungus, man. That was so cool. The fungus was helping him out, man. And the little bomb-oms, little, tick, 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 tick. Those were dope, dude. And then the dinosaurs with the little heads.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh my God, yeah. The dinosaurs with the little heads.
The Goombas.
I think those were turtles. I think.
That would make sense. Those are okay.
Yeah, and they're like...
I remember them being big and bulky.
Bowser's a giant dinosaurus turtle.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Spiky shell.
Yeah, spiky shell.
Pretty cool.
But, oh my God, it is... just...
And Yoshi, man. Yoshi was cool, dude. He was not cute. he was like a little velociraptor, man. I don't know. I thought it was fantastic.
This is a very specific audience.
John Leguizamo is Luigi, man. Perfect.
It's like it's like kids who are old enough to know what this is, but not old enough to be offended by everything they're seeing on the screen, making a mockery of their favorite characters. And these kids are also, for some reason, very, very high. Those are the only that's their target audience. People that have played the game don't care all that much, are very little, and they're high all the time. And I think that's a very small niche market.
Yeah, it is, but
I
don't think they were even trying to target for that though. I just think that's where the targeting went because that's the people that did like it. But I don't think the movie was targeted for. I think it was targeted for adults.
7-year-old stoners who are marginally aware of who Mario and Luigi are.
All right, so I thought it was great. Anre thought it was terrible. So did the rest of the world, I guess. But 6-year-old David stamped approval.
Nintendo was like, no.
So there hasn't been a Nintendo movie since?
Never again.
There hasn't been a Nintendo movie since?
I mean, I don't think so. There might be, but I can't. There definitely hasn't been a Hollywood movie. Like, there's no Zelda. There's no. I mean, there are some games that make more sense, like Metroid. There are games that make more sense, and I'm sure we discuss some of them.
Get there, yeah.
But none of them have been made, and that is.
A testament to why.
Mainly because of
Super Mario Brothers, man.
Like they trusted Hollywood, and Hollywood was like, "Yeah, we don't care about your IP. We don't care about these characters. We don't give one single iota of one care. We do not care. We're here trying to make a cheap movie and make a slight profit."
Well, Nintendo, I'd be ready for a second one of those. So hopefully one day you'll let us.
Sequel.
I'd kill for one.
Let's see what the adventures of Mario
And Luigi Mario. And Peach Mario.
Abomination Yoshi. And small-headed Koopas. Let's see what they're up to.
Man, I thought the art style was great. It was kind of dark and like neo-futuristic, and I thought it was cool.
Dark.
Oh, it was cool.
And that's what people, who play Mario World, that's what they go for. Dark.
That's what they want.
Yeah,
murderous.
That's what they want. Dark.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, whenever I think of Mario and I think of like World.
So you're saying they made they should have
dark.
They should have actually made the Resident Evil movies instead of who made the Resident Evil movies. Is that what you're trying to say?
I don't think they should. I don't think they should make any movies.
Oh, okay.
The people that made that movie.
Man, okay. Well, agree to disagree. So what do you got next? What's on your? What's your next? What do you got?
So I'm gonna go. Since you went with one that you like, I'm gonna go with one that I like, a classic, and that's Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
The original Mortal Kombat, and I'll get into Annihilation later. I will get to you, Annihilation. But the original Mortal Kombat is amazing. Okay.
Amazing.
First of all, it's amazing not just for a video game movie, but for a summer flick. A fun summer flick.
Yeah.
People watched that movie, right? The critics watched it, and people were like, oh, it's not Citizen Kane. It's not The Dark Knight. It's not supposed to be. It's a game.
Right.
Based on, it's a movie rather. I'm going to do that all the time. It's a movie based on a fighting video game. And I think that's why, like I talked about
a game
before,
that really didn't have a story.
Yeah. I mean, the story was bare bone. Like the movie came out after the first game. If you notice, there's no characters from Mortal Kombat 2 or 3 on there. So the story is very bare bones. It's a fighting game story. So, it's not exactly The Last of Us. But they expanded upon it. They got some dope actors, had some dope fight scenes. It was kind of kiddie, kind of cheesy, while also being like cool and having dope lines. The effects at the time were pretty good. They didn't overreach themselves and try to do crazy stuff like animalities and all that crap that Mortal Kombat Annihilation did. And as a result, it looks better than a movie that came out later, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, which is crazy. You watch it now and it's like, all right, some of the graphics you can tell were made, 20 years ago. But still, some of the effects, like Sub-Zero's effects and a lot of them, Goro was practical. That was like a puppet or like a guy.
Animatronics with it, probably.
Yeah, they tried to find a real tall dude with forearms, but they couldn't. So they went with the animatronics but they didn't go CG. They went practical when they could. The fight scenes were good. Obviously, it had a legendary song that they played a bunch. And it's like Top Gun, man. When you have a song that is very good, you play it multiple times in that same movie.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Top Gun played Danger Zone 3 times.
Wow.
Danger Zone is not a theme. Danger Zone is a song, and they played it 3 times in one movie. Think about that.
How many times do you think they're going to play it in Maverick?
At least
3. Okay.
At least 2, probably 3, maybe 4. Who knows?
That's funny.
They probably they had to wait on releasing that movie. They probably put another one in there. They just edited it in there. But this isn't like the Mission Impossible theme where it's just like dun, 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 dun. No, this is a freaking song they played 3 times. And Mortal Kombat, they were like, our song is dope. We'll play it at the beginning, the end, the middle.
Every fight, yeah.
There's nothing that gets people hyper than the Mortal Kombat song. If you hear that song, you just want to fight somebody. You really do. You really do.
Yeah. Or dance fight, but yeah. So
it was a fun flick. I love Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Liu Kang, Katana. She was nice. Johnny Cage was dope in that movie. He was a nice bit of one-liners and comic relief. Sonya Blade, and of course Shang Tsung. You look at if you think Shang Tsung, you don't immediately think of that actor. You're wrong. You're just wrong.
Yeah,
they're so good. They brought him back for like Mortal Kombat 11. They just used his likeness. They're like, you know what? We're getting so realistic. We're just gonna bring the real Shang Tsung, and that's awesome. That actor. I mean, he's incredible. So yeah, really, really a fun movie, and not only that, but rewatchable now. You could watch that movie now and enjoy it.
What, the first Mortal Kombat or Annihilation?
No,
the first.
God,
one.
No.
Okay,
the first Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I'll just touch on Annihilation real quick. First of all, I think it came out like a year, maybe two, but like a very quick turnaround after the first one. You could tell they wanted to make like not even all the actors came back. They're lucky Luke Cage came back. Johnny died in the first scene. So Shao Kahn killed him. So you're as a kid you're like, what? Why did they kill Liu Kang? Or not Liu Kang, Johnny Cage? And then as an adult you're like, because he didn't want to do his fucking movie. So he's just like, he showed up, died, and then went somewhere else. So
real quick, I want to mention after I watched the new Mortal Kombat movie last night, I went and looked up a clip from Mortal Kombat, and I was just looking up various clips, but this one really stood out. It was 5 minutes long, and it was the Liu Kang fight versus Reptile, right? And
from the first Mortal Kombat?
No, from Annihilation, right?
He fought Reptile in Annihilation.
I thought it was Annihilation.
But describe it, I'll tell you.
Okay, so anyway, there's this statue, right? And then this little being jumps into the statue.
Yeah, that's Mortal Kombat.
Is it? Okay, I was going to say, because that, I thought it was...
That's right after they go to Outworld. Funny thing about that, when they screened the movie to, people before they showed it, they said, like, a feedback was they didn't think they had enough fight scenes. So they added that scene in after they like finished.
Oh wow!
Making the movie already, so I added it in. Yeah, go ahead. Tell me about that amazing fight scene and that weird statue.
Yeah, that was terrible. I didn't know. I thought you were talking about the visual effects that they were using from Annihilation, and I thought that was from Annihilation because it was just so terrible seeing that little guy crawl in and out of this. It was bad.
Yeah, you noticed I didn't mention that when I talked about the good parts.
Yeah.
Of I like the fight, but yeah, it was not.
Yeah, the fight was good.
Graphics, or special effects, but yeah, it was a very fun fight, and we got to see Liu Kang's bicycle kick.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to say that I really appreciate what you said about it being a fun summer blockbuster. That's how I felt about this one. It was a lot of fun. Like recently, Kong and Godzilla came out. And people are like, oh, a big monster movie. It's not the greatest thing. I'm like, it's a big monster fighting monster movie. Yeah. What more do you want?
What do you expect?
Yeah, that was that was a great movie. And then this one, it's a summer blockbuster of people fighting each other. And I'll tell you what, I'm not gonna, no spoilers or anything, but Kano, he's one of the, he's, I think, bar none, the best character in this new movie. He is hilarious.
Oh, wow.
He is the comedy in this movie, and he's fantastic. So. Shout out to Kano in this movie.
I liked him in the first movie too. He is a bad guy, but yeah, he got his neck snapped by Sonya Blade. Yeah, but he was super dope and cocky, and he has some of the best lines. I remember he's talking to Goro, and he's like. I don't want to go into it like
anyway,
a review of Mortal Kombat, but yeah, it's very he has some great lines.
So Mortal Kombat's stamp of approval, huh?
Yeah, it's such a funny movie. It's like this dude Kano in Mortal Kombat. He's just like a criminal. He's a criminal. He can fight. Everybody over there can fight. He uses like a knife. He kills people. The only reason Sonya is trying to get him is because like he killed her partner. And Sonya is a police officer who's trying to track him down. He went there. She went there. Shang Tsung is using Kano to get her on the island. He's there, and he's like, there's people freezing people and stuff coming out of their hands, and there's like this giant, 9 feet tall dude with 4 arms, and he's just a guy with a knife. And he's just like, I don't know what I'm doing here, but okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun movie.
This one was great. You're gonna love it. I can't wait to talk to you about it once you've seen it. It was fantastic.
Yeah. I might watch it today, actually.
Yeah, worth it. All right, so next up for me, 2006 Silent Hill. I may be the minority here, but I loved this movie. If you wanted a movie about Silent Hill, you got it, in my opinion. Had all the great details, done in a remarkable way that will remain one of the creepiest fucking movies I've ever seen, man. Those clicking nurses, terrifying, man. Terrifying. What do you think of Silent Hill? You seen it?
I haven't seen Silent Hill. I've heard a lot of I've heard a lot of great things about Silent Hill, actually. And I've seen snippets. I think that's an example of a video game that is kind of enhanced by a movie. I think that is the type of video game that a movie would make better. In general, I think you could make horror games easier because the horror movie genre is kind of easier to make at a baseline level. Even though, like I said earlier, I don't like them. I think I don't think it's that difficult to make a horror movie and make it okay.
Well, I mean, a lot of people do, so that's why a lot of horror movies are terrible. But I always enjoy watching all of them, whether they're good or bad. So anyway, Silent Hill, great, man. Pyramid Head keeping at their heels the whole time. The way they did the mist, and a lot of people thought the story was very confusing, and I didn't. Man, it's a weird fucking movie. That's it. And there's plenty others out there that are weirder and don't even make any sense in the world. And I thought you knew what was going on in Silent Hill, even if you didn't fully understand it. You knew what was happening. Like, a lot of people are confused. Well, they're in this mist area. Are they dead? Are they alive? Well, who gives a fuck? They're in another dimension or whatever you want to call it.
But that's like, the game was ambiguous too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm, yep.
So, I mean, that's kind of in keeping with the franchise,
I thought it was a fantastic movie. So, Silent Hill, highly, if you haven't seen it and you like horror stuff, or you like the game and you want to see a movie, watch it. It was great. All right, what you got next, Anre?
Let's see. Let's see. So after Silent Hill, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Tomb Raider.
I knew you were gonna bring that up.
So first of all, it stars the greatest
actress in the world,
actor in human history, Angelina Jolie. If we're being honest, probably the greatest person to ever existed. So this was kind of the road that like launched her career. She had already been a great actor, probably since she was in the womb, but she had already done a lot of great stuff for smaller projects. And then Tomb Raider came out, and again, kind of like Mortal Kombat, a lot of people are like, oh, it's a bad movie. But first of all, Angelina Jolie doesn't make bad movies. Okay? If she's in the movie, it's good. I don't know how that's hard to understand. Like, if you don't like a movie she's in, you're the one that's wrong. Okay?
Yeah,
so moving on from
it's
that.
It's totally their fault, man. Yep.
Yeah. Maybe watch it better next time. Do a better job.
Maybe pay more attention to Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And secondly, this was a perfect marriage. This is a perfect marriage of a character. Like, you think of Angelina Jolie and you think of Lara Croft, and you're like, yeah, that's perfect casting. It's a summer popcorn flick. The movies, the script isn't supposed to like. It's not examining the human condition or anything. It's a movie about a billionaire, archaeologist who shoots her way out of most problems. The fight scenes were great. The action scenes were great. The lead was great. Everything about it was great. It's just a fun movie. Mm-hmm. And that's why I think that, like, I think video game movies get a bad rap because some are terrible. Some are truly terrible, right? We've gone over that. You have. Mm-hmm. But some are just held to this ridiculously high standard of like, well, if it's not an Oscar-worthy movie,
why are you even making it?
And why are you? Yeah, exactly. Why are you even making it? Like, well, it's a fun movie for fans of the series. It's an action movie, It doesn't have to be as great as all these crazy, good movies, but it is a fun movie. It was good enough to get a sequel, pretty good sequel, and I think that she. I watched behind the scenes stuff, and she's doing, she being Angelina Jolie, capital S, and she's taken the role seriously. Obviously, she's preparing, she's fighting, she's doing all her own stunts, the more she can do, obviously. She's in there's a scene with like a bungee thing where and it has some like fun little fight scenes, where they storm her, like the bad guys storm her little mansion, and she just happens to be in this bungee thing training, going up and down, and she kills them all because she's Lara Croft, and they are not the Tomb Raider. They are just some
and they're on her property.
Yeah,
illegally. Yeah, what's wrong with them?
This is, I'm get
on my land.
I'm pretty sure she lives in like London or something, so I don't know what their rules are, but basically if you mess with the Tomb Raider, you're probably going to die. You shouldn't do that, but they had orders anyway. So yeah, Tomb Raider.
Oh yeah, okay.
Good video game movie.
Well, I wouldn't know. I've never seen it, Anre. I was waiting for a what? I have seen it. I'm kidding. I wanted to see it. Don't have a heart attack, man. It's like you were sitting so perfectly still right there. I was like, did his internet go out or something? That's good.
Oh my god!
I'm kidding.
I almost left.
I'm kidding. So I've seen it. It is a good video game movie. Now talking about actors making or breaking a movie, The Rock. And 2005's The Doom movie. Even The Rock could not save this movie, in my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that I don't want and we shouldn't have an awesome Doom movie. I'm just saying it shouldn't be this one. And I really, honestly, just lost my interest when they went to the first-person camera shooting stuff, which I guess was just to pay homage to the...
a lot of people actually like that part.
I thought it was so ridiculously over the top and stupid. Dumb. I thought it was so, honestly, it's such a tactless act, man, that it lost any redeeming qualities that the rest of the movie would have had for me. I was just, for me, it was just bad. I don't know. Wow. Like, okay, this is supposed to be, for me, is like, this is supposed to be a movie based off of a video game, right? And instead, why did you even throw this scene in here? We all know that Doom is a first-person shooter. Why did you make this first-person shooter a scene? I don't even understand why it was in there. There could have been so many other cooler fighting scenes and things they could have done to put it in the place of that. And just drop the ball, I think.
No, not a good movie.
Yeah, terrible.
Agreed.
Doom. They can make a really awesome Doom movie, man. Like, and all it has to be, honestly, and I saw a little video, and I'd love to reference it here for everyone to see, but it was really awesome. Somebody made a 2016 Doom, like a recreation of the game in a little movie format, but he did it with stop motion and Play-Doh, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Man. You could make a whole movie about that, about a Doom movie with the Play-Doh stuff, just killing other stuff. I would watch the crap out of that. Now, doesn't have to be Play-Doh. You can get some real actors in there. And, find some real demons too, if you can. And just...
Doom now, with Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, it's almost like they are celebrating their lack of story. They're weaponizing their lack of story. Yeah. You start the game, you get a gun, you shoot a demon, you repeat that 50,000 times, then you beat the game. Like, that's how... And so it's kind of weird that's a game, but the good thing is you can go anywhere because you expand it. You can go, there's not a lot of story there, so you can kind of mine it, you can kind of,
I don't need a story at all. Give me a Doom movie where it's just a Doom Slayer dude killing demons the whole time.
That sounds boring.
Well, okay, so it does sound boring, but
that's the problem.
It's not though. So now I will say I also want to mention Metroid here, right? Who is a silent protagonist. She doesn't have much to say, but if Nicolas Cage can do an entire movie killing things and not saying a single word, so can my girl Samus, all right?
What movie was that?
Wally's Wonderland. It's a new movie. Nick Cage he fights these animatronic Chuck E. Cheese style freaky looking robots that have been like possessed by these serial killers or whatnot. So they have like blood that squirts, even though they're like animatronic robots. They have and the whole movie is he does not say a single word, and he's just killing these damn things.
Wow.
Now this movie was by no means a good movie. It was a terrible movie, but it was also an awesome movie. Hard to describe. It's really hard to describe. It was a fun watch.
That sounds like a Nicolas Cage movie.
Yeah, it was a fun watch. It was a good and bad movie, but it doesn't need to be critically acclaimed. I don't need a Doom movie to be a critically acclaimed movie. It could be a summer blockbuster. You're just watching this guy shoot and beat up demons with crazy fatalities like Mortal Kombat. He's just killing them in super cool ways. Be creative with it, and I'll enjoy that. Same thing. That's all Metroid has to be. Man, Metroid would be a visually stunning movie. A really fun movie.
I had Metroid. I really think that Metroid would be a good movie. I think that you could have a good story about that.
You could.
I think that Samus, and you could adapt the first game. You could adapt other games, I mean, you could do your own thing, your own story, but like I really do think you could, almost like a Metroid mixed with a Dead Space kind of thing. Dead Space would be a great movie too.
Oh man, please let me tell you about it. Yes. Yeah. Oh man, would that make an excellent movie? I don't know why I didn't think about it. Maybe just because I love the story and they were done, so the games were done so well. I didn't even think it needed it.
That's the issue with a lot of these movies. That the game is so good that you're like, does this need a movie? That's the thing with Uncharted, the Tom Holland new Uncharted movie. It's like, the first game was good, and then everyone after that was amazing. And so, and we've got 5 mainline games, 6 if you count Golden Abyss, which I know a lot of people do. It's a very good game on PSP or Vita. I mean, and that's a long story told over multiple years, over many hours, and obviously the Tom Holland movie, he's a younger Drake, obviously, but he's not going to rehash all of these adventures or do anything. But it's like, man, you got a lot to live up to, because these were some great games.
They were movie games. They were movie games.
Yeah, exactly. It was basically Indiana Jones. Except you get to play as them.
I would say, man, if there's any movie, it's funny that you brought that up. If there's any movie or any game that I think doesn't need a movie about it, it would be the Uncharted series. Those to me were amazing experiences. It was a game movie. Yeah.
It was a blockbuster. Yeah. Actually, it was so much a game movie that they made a commercial about it. PlayStation made a PlayStation 3 commercial about Uncharted 3, I think. Either Uncharted 2 or 3. But I think it was 3. About this guy, right? It's a commercial. It's only 30 seconds. But this guy is asking Kevin Butler. You remember Kevin Butler, right? The fake executive for Sony.
Okay.
All of his commercials were great. All of them.
Yeah.
I don't know why Sony didn't sign him to a lifetime deal. I really don't. All of them were amazing. He was just pretending to be like a PlayStation exec. And so this guy is like, the commercial is basically like, this guy's like, help me, please. My girlfriend thinks that Uncharted 3 is a movie. And so every night she like pops popcorn, goes to the
I remember
chair,
that one.
and like waits for it to start. And Kevin's like, I don't see the problem, man.
You know, he's like, and I don't have the heart to tell her that it's not, or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah.
Man, that was like, a great commercial. Yeah,
it was just like, there's nothing you can do, man. Just get on it, finish the movie.
Yeah, that was good. That was good.
While they're talking, the girlfriend's like, "Come on, honey, it's almost started."
Yeah,
it's like a press start screen or something.
So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't need a movie, and that's it's very interesting. They're kind of doing the same thing with Ghost of Tsushima. I don't know if you know, but they're making a movie out of that.
Oh,
and it's kind of weird because like Ghost of Tsushima was the developers are open about how it is inspired by old Kurosawa movies, like the old black and white samurai movies, and this is going to be like a game based on old movies, but you're gonna have a movie based on that game. It's gonna be very interesting, but it's also like the cleanest fit because it already is kind of. First of all, the story is simple. While it's simple to adapt to screen, like, hey, do I continue my samurai ways and keep my honor, or do I go the ghost path and try to win this war, this battle that we're having, that we're losing? So that's kind of it's a simple concept, a simple main story. But you can go a lot of different ways with it. And so I think they could make a very good movie out of that. I think I'm more, I won't say excited. I'm more confident in their ability to make Ghost of Tsushima movie than I am an Uncharted movie. Because like Ghost of Tsushima is like you're playing, it's so cinematic. It's like you're playing a movie for 30 hours or however long it takes you. So yeah, I don't think it'll be that big of a transition. I wanted to piggyback off of Doom because you like Doom, and that movie was garbage.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a game I like. One of my first games. We talked about this before. Street Fighter.
Okay.
That I really like.
Yep.
And I really like Chun-Li. The first lady of gaming.
The first lady.
Yeah, the first lady of gaming. And then they
why was she the first lady of gaming?
They butchered. I think she was the first playable female character.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, what about Peach, man? What about Zelda, man?
Peach isn't playable.
I know.
Zelda wasn't.
But that's what I was asking.
Playable.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, Chun-Li is better than both of them.
Oh, okay.
So there's that. Yeah. I mean, there's that nice game where, Peach, you're playing as her, and you're using her emotions to fight the enemies. Like when she gets sad, her like tears hurt the enemies. She gets angry. Yeah, it's basically like Women Are Crazy, the game. And not sure it would get made today, but look that up.
Okay.
It's
Women Are Crazy, the game. Got it.
Yeah, Women Are Crazy, the game.
I'm sure that was
yeah, and but yeah, Chun-Li, love her, I like Ken, Ryu, and then they came out with Street Fighter movie, and oh my god, what an abomination. They get Jean-Claude Van Damme to play the most American character ever with his like inescapable Belgian accent, and he's playing Guile. Guile, really? The Air Force captain, Guile, the guy with like
the green tank top,
flags. Yeah,
and then the crew cut the hair and
the hair.
Yeah,
the most American character ever, like Guile. You get this guy. It is the worst thing ever. The only thing that makes it redeemable is I'm mad I forgot the actor's name. He passed shortly after that movie.
Terrible.
But the actor that played M. Bison. Yeah,
he was great. Yeah.
I mean, it's like he looked at this script and he was like, "This is a comedy, right? Is what this is?" Well, I'm just gonna ham it up, dude. Like, I'm gonna attack these lines 110%. And he did. And it's amazing.
No.
Like, every good thing about that movie, every watchable scene has him in it. Just like being this crazy, power-filled, evil
mastermind, yeah.
Like, Saturday morning cartoon villain. And he just takes it. And at least they didn't, is that what M. Bison is supposed to be? No, he's a serious bad guy in the games, but that's not the movie they made. But at least they didn't have him as a reporter, like they did Chun-Li, or cameraman, like they did E. Honda. E. Honda is a Japanese sumo wrestler. They made him a Hawaiian cameraman. I don't understand. I don't get it. Did you even watch anyone play these games? It's not difficult. They tell you it's not a difficult game. Each character's from like a country, as most people are, and they're distinctly that country. Like Dao Sim is distinctly Indian, Ryu is distinctly Japanese, Ken is distinctly American, and they fight each other. You could have, because the story was not that big. The story of Street Fighter 2 is, there is a story, and it is worth exploring. But like they could have gone a lot of places with it, and where they decided to go is not where they should have went. It was terrible. Everything was bad about it, and it shouldn't have been made.
Oh, okay. Well, I did like the Blanca guy though.
Oh yeah,
I thought he did a great job. Yeah, being a big green thing. So.
Yeah, well, at least they got the freaking color.
Well, I also got here, let's see, terrible game. Transformers, the game is terrible. All right? I don't know if you've played this game.
The one by Platinum?
I can't remember. I don't remember who made it. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's the one, like, based off the movie, because there's been Transformer games. There's, like, Transformers...
Based off the Transformers movie?
Yeah.
Or, like, the old cartoon Transformers?
The movie. Based off the Transformers movie.
Shia LaBeouf movie?
Yeah. So, and I don't think... I don't think he was ever in it. I don't think they had much of them. I can't remember. But, because they did have they have had other Transformers games, and one is... the War for Cybertron, I think. And that one was okay. That one wasn't terrible.
I think Platinum did that game. I think people like that one.
Okay. But yeah, this one I was not a big fan of. And I really think a lot of Transformers games, man, they missed the mark on like what Transformers do best, which is transforming, right?
Yeah.
I think this game was pretty, I remember it being very boring and very stale. And I think if someone were to make a new Transformers movie, what I think they should do is kind of follow the suit of what Insomniac did for Spider-Man, and really have some cool battles in there, or even chase scenes where you're battling, but you're also having to like transform into whatever form you are. If you're a ship or you're flying through maybe the city buildings and going and dodging stuff that's coming at you, and then there's a group of enemies, you got to transform real quick, kill them, stuff like that. Or maybe even incorporate fights where you need to transform. Like there's an attack that he does, and if you don't change into the car and zoom off right now real quick and then change back,
I get it. You need reasons to go into your car form.
Yeah.
Or your vehicle form. Yeah.
And I think if they did that, they could make a really fun game. Yeah.
I agree. It is a concept that is rife for a good game. It isn't easy to do that, but it is a good concept. It really is. Having, it would take a very good developer. It is not easy, I would say that, because you do, like you said, you need the ability, not only the ability, but you need reasons to transform into your vehicle, make that help you somehow, and transform back. Do that quickly, like they do in the movies.
Yep.
Or the old cartoon movies, the good one. The one with my boy Galvatron.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love Beast Wars, man. Beast Wars would be a fantastic if they made a really similar kind of concept. But they could make an awesome Beast Wars game, man.
See, that was like before my time, so I don't know if that was a spinoff or a ripoff. Like, I'm not sure. Because they're just like animals, right? That are like also robots.
No, so Beast Wars was, same kind of concept. They come from Cybertron and they land on
Okay, so it's a
they land on Earth back when it's prehistoric, and
okay.
there's no humans on it yet. So they're having trouble because they wrecked, and they're having to find all of their pods and whatnot and get to them before the other team does, because if a Decepticon gets to one of the pods, they can change an Autobot into a Decepticon. So they're basically trying to build up their armies. So the robots in disguise here is they take forms of animals, and then they hide as those so that the enemy Decepticons don't see them, don't find them, or whatever.
Wasn't Megatron like a Tyrannosaurus Rex?
He was, and then became this awesome dragon thing that was really cool as shit at the end of the series.
Okay. So yeah, it was like a new season or something. It was like, it's the same universe. It's the same people.
Beast Wars?
Beast Wars.
Yeah. What do you mean same people? Same robots. Yeah. So you had Optimus Prime. Now, okay, so Bumblebee, right? Bumblebee was Cheetor in this one. So that was his name. He was a cheetah. But he was yellow, he was fast. Basically, he was Bumblebee, right?
Yeah.
But he was a cheetah. And then you had Rat Trap, who was based off a rat.
I remember the cartoon. It's like 3D.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love that show, man. That show was fantastic. And it even got awesome when they started getting into like Transmetals 2 forms and stuff. That's when shit got really tight. Great show. I'd love to see a game based off of Beast Wars. That would be fan. And you know what would be really even cooler too is, I think with the animal concept, obviously in cars and vehicles, a lot of them don't have like attacks unless you're a tank or an airplane or something, right?
Yeah,
that has missiles.
Fighter jet
But with these animals, all of them can fight. So you could have cool like versus team battles where you've got two forms that you can change into and have different ways that you can attack and fight, and then have those work together in different combinations depending on who's on your team and who isn't, and then have death matches.
So you know what that reminds me of? Have you ever played Bloody Roar?
Bloody Roar, yeah, that's a great fighting game. Yeah,
it is. First of all, make a new Bloody Roar game.
Oh yeah, please. Please, whoever.
Why haven't you done that?
Yeah,
I think Namco. I think it's Namco, but I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I like the mole guy. He was my favorite.
Bakaru, the mole.
Yeah, he was cool.
I played that game so much.
Yeah, man, I loved it.
Bloody Roar 3 is the one I played so much. I was very good at that game. It's a fighting game.
Yeah, of course.
And it's a 2D fighter for those that don't know, and you're humans, but they transform into giant.
I'd say like werewolf kind of versions of the animals, right? So there's still a humanoid version of a mole,
or a humanoid version of a wolf, or a lion. There are some others like the Unborn.
Yeah, he was crazy. I'm thinking a creature from a different world is what that was, right? But he had those blades and stuff. He was tight. Yeah,
and then the half breed, which is like, it's like a half formation. She's like a cat. But yeah, she was good. She was one of my faves. We should play that one time.
Yeah,
on the 3.
Yeah, it'd be fun.
But yeah,
and you had two different ways to fight, because you had a certain move set when you were in the human form, and then you had a different move set, which was kind of similar but different. Yeah. So yeah,
and you're stronger in your beast form, but it runs out. So there's some strategy to using it when you're using it. It feels very good to win just in your human form. Like when you transform, you do this like big, and you knock the other guy back. Yeah. There was level destruction and all that, and wall destruction, knock people through walls. It was a great game, and like it was up there with like Tekken and Soul Calibur in the PS2 era, and I don't know why they stopped making it. I should check on it. Maybe they're making it.
And speaking of like fighting movies, that Mortal Kombat movies, and with the technology we have right now to actually make these transformations happen on the big screen, that would be a really cool fighting movie.
It really would, yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you're thinking about the Beast Wars game, obviously it'd be easy to make a 2D fighter, but you can make a 3D fighter. You can make a 3D not open world, but like action adventure type thing. You could do that, and it would be much easier than the other one where you're doing vehicles. It would just be much easier.
Yeah. Man, would I love to see that.
Yes. Somebody make it, man. We have the technology.
Team on team deathmatch with Beast Wars, different animals, and yeah, that'd be really cool, man. Anyway,
man. So good. So
almost close to last here, 2016's Assassin's Creed. Now, I just had to mention this one because I don't really remember the movie, but I remember being severely unsatisfied with it. Do you have anything you want to add about Assassin's Creed?
So it starred Michael Fassbender. I didn't watch it. It didn't look good.
Oh, wow, you did.
And then, when something doesn't look good to me and I'm not interested, and then the reviews come out and it's like, yeah, this movie's bad, I'm like, I don't gotta watch it. It's just like, if I want to see something like Mortal Kombat, right? And if reviewers were like, that's bad, I'm like, I'm probably still gonna watch it for my own opinion. Yeah. But if I'm like, I don't think this looks good, and everybody's like, it's not good, I'm like, all right, well.
Yeah, agreed. So for me,
to watch it.
I look at like the Rotten Tomatoes app, right? And I look at a movie, and it has to be either up or down in one of the categories, at least for me. Either critics have to love it and users hate it, and I'll still watch it and probably love it. And then if critics hated it but users love it, I'll watch it, still probably love it. And then if both of them hate it, I'm like, that movie's probably not worth my time. And then if both of them love it, you're like, okay, that's probably one of the greatest movies in our lifetime, so I have to watch that movie right now. So that's the way I kind of base it. And then sometimes if there's nothing to watch, I'll just watch it where they're both saying it's bad, and I'll form my own opinion. But there's a lot of movies in the world to watch before I have to get to one of those. Or unless a friend says, hey, this movie's terrible, you got to watch it just so you can tell me how terrible it is. And then I'll, something like that. So. Okay, you got any others you want to add on?
So a good video game movie that was a comic book movie. I believe it went comic video game movie.
Okay.
But it might have gone comic movie video game, but I don't think so. Anyway, Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Okay.
Love that freaking movie. It is awesome.
That movie's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
Yep.
It is legitimately fantastic. Michael Cera, perfect casting for.
Oh my God, it's a movie of his lifetime, man. That's his really role. Is, Scott Pilgrim, it was good.
Yeah, exactly. That's his role. That's his like Mark Zuckerberg for Jesse Eisenberg, that's like his role. Yeah.
Or the Joker's Heath Ledger.
That's his Joker. Great. Yeah, just a fun movie. I like a lot of times when movies try to like incorporate things from video games, it turns out cheesy but everything in this is fun. The Easter eggs are fun. The little stuff they have on there that you kind of don't notice the first time you're watching it in the background are fun. The way they made the movie, not just like we're going to have a whole bunch of comic book stuff and video game stuff everywhere. It's not just that. It's just like the way the aesthetic is and the color schemes and the way certain things kind of go with certain other things, like the way they shoot things and the way the colors. It's very good. Ramona and her hair and everything's real, and also it has Aubrey Plaza in it, so it just has everything going for it.
Man, the movie is
all of the supporting
fantastic.
Actors did a great job. Chris Evans, he's one of the
skateboarding dude.
Yeah, skateboard dude. He's,
the actor.
Yeah, so good in that. Like the freaking vegan police. There's so much about that movie that is great, and it's so rewatchable. It is. It still looks good. It's just a fun movie. It's just like a fun movie you watch, and one of the greatest video game movies of all time. Yeah,
man, that is an excellent movie. I really, really loved it, and all the X's. Fantastic! Every one of them was great. Yeah, every one of the evil X's was fantastic.
The evil X's,
and every actor, like you said, did an amazing job. And I love that. That was one of my favorites.
So funny.
No,
it's so funny.
I'm vegan. He's got all these superpowers. Oh my goodness. Yeah, the vegan police coming in. So
Yeah.
really loved it. And the game the game is well, I was going to talk about this later, is on sale right now, and it's definitely a game I'd love to check out, and it's something that we a type of game we like to play with. What, Streets of Rage was it?
Yeah,
Very similar,
Rage.
very similar to Streets of Rage style game. So definitely awesome.
So if you don't have any more, there's just one more I want to say, that we should make a movie. All right, and they might be. Who knows?
Okay.
I don't know. The Old Republic.
Okay.
All right, game we're going to talk about a little later, but Star Wars: The Old Republic. Whether you're just talking about Knights of the Old Republic, or, in my opinion, The Old Republic, the MMO, which is amazing, fun, just very good game, very great story. One of the last great BioWare games, really, when you think about it. I mean, BioWare's not dead; they're just
in hibernation.
They're a bit of a losing streak. But they're coming back. But yeah, Star Wars, man. All right, we're done with the Skywalker saga, right? That's what it is. Amazing saga. I love it. Star Wars is bigger than the Skywalker saga. The greatest thing, the second greatest thing George Lucas ever did. The greatest was creating Star Wars. The second greatest thing he ever did, the second smartest thing he ever did, was letting talented artists, whether they be comic book artists, video game developers, or novelists, create their own works within his universe.
Help expand it.
Yeah, this is the expanded universe. And now, since Disney bought it, all that stuff is non-canon, and it became Legends. And I know people are upset about that, but I think we have to realize how amazing it is that everything before was canon, and that's crazy. Like Star Wars: The Force Unleashed was canon. That's crazy. Like, just the game that they made, the Thrawn series, the Bane trilogy, everything throughout spanning multiple centuries of this universe was all canon, and it all worked together, and nothing contradicted each other. That's actually crazy, because there are hundreds of different artists and writers and stuff working on these various projects, spanning from the early 90s to when Disney bought Lucasfilm. So that's incredible. But the Old Republic is a time frame where there's all these Sith and there's all these Jedi. There's the Sith Empire. There's the Republic, and they're fighting these wars. There's like a tenuous peace treaty. This is just at the start of the game. So basically, if you go in that era, the Old Republic era, where there's the Sith Empire and the Republic with the Jedi, and there's still bounty hunters. There's all of this. There's smugglers. There's all this classic Star Wars stuff. You could create not only a movie, you could create a new saga in that era. And you could get away from the Skywalker trilogy, or saga rather, the Rule of Two with the Sith. You could go into so many different directions. And it gives you the freedom to do whatever you want, and to create new stories. And that's what I think they're going to do. Now, they have the High Republic that they're starting. I don't know if they're going to be a movie about it, but they have started making comics and novels. And so I do think we're going to get into that space. But I really think that it is very interesting to see, not only because we see most of the Force through the Jedi's eyes. I think it's cool to see the Sith and how they think about the Force and what they think about things. And so the Old Republic, make a movie, make a trilogy, make a saga. Just do it. Just take my money, make this movie.
Okay.
That's all you got to do.
All right. Well, I'd be excited to see that
Kennedy
too.
And Mr. Mouse over at Disney, just all you guys, just go ahead and do it.
Yeah, I'd love to see anything they've been doing with Star Wars lately has been amazing. The Mandalorian.
Yes.
I
got the new Obi-Wan show coming out.
I'm super stoked for that. Yep.
Yeah.
But now this is still Excuse me. Well, Mandalorian isn't, but Obi-Wan, that's going back, right? So it's going back to the Skywalker saga. So I would love to see something that based in a different time. Old Republic would be amazing. So yeah, I agree. So last but not least here for me, Bloodborne. Yep, make a Bloodborne game and Dark Souls. Make a Bloodborne movie and all Dark Souls movies, all of them. Make them all. Sound good? You agree?
Sounds good. Sounds good. I agree.
So just as a reminder, if everyone's enjoying the show, you can head over to patreon.com/crownkingmedia and start supporting us for just $1 a month. To get you a Patreon-exclusive show dubbed The Roundtable, where we pick a game to discuss in great detail while providing our insight into what could make it much better or far, far worse. It's time to talk about some industry news. Sony admits it's made a wrong decision and will keep the PS3 and Vita stores open. According to The Verge, Sony has announced it'll be keeping its PS3 and PlayStation and Vita digital download storefront open for the foreseeable future. The PSP store will be shut down for July 2nd, 2021, as originally planned. Sony says that the move to discontinue the storefronts was born out of a number of factors, including commerce support challenges for older devices, along with a desire to focus more on newer products like the PlayStation 5. Following the announcement, though, and the backlash from the PS3 and PS Vita owners upset that they would no longer be able to buy new games. What do you make of this?
So firstly, everyone, I told you so. This was a big deal. It was an unforced error. Again, there are some things that companies don't want to have happen, but they have happened and they can't avoid them. That is just the nature of business, right? The inability to make as many PS5s as they want is one of them. It is something that is bad, but that they cannot control. When you do an unforced error, that is something that no outside force is making you screw up. You're just screwing up on your own. And this is what this is. You do not need bad publicity when Microsoft is like, you get this game on Game Pass and that game on Game Pass. And you can play you can play Fable at 89,000 frames per second and 4K, 8K, 60 frames 4K. But you can play every game, on the Xbox through full backwards compatibility. And the implication is that you can't do that on Sony's console, and you can't. You can only play PS4 and PS5 games. And does that matter to most people? No, backwards compatibility does not matter to most people.
It still doesn't matter to me.
But it's another feather in Microsoft's cap that you don't have. It is a feature that they have that you do not. Smart delivery is a feature that they have that you do not. Quick resume is a feature that they have that you do not. And there's no reason you don't have it, because your chip is actually faster than theirs. So you should be able to have it. Maybe in the future you will. But you do not need to be losing things like this. You do not need to be, when Microsoft puts out something, it's good. And when Sony puts out something, it's like, oh yeah, hey, we're shutting down Vita and PS3 stores this year.
I hear you.
You don't need to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to create any more problems for yourself right now. You already have a really big one. And, so you have a win. Like, you're the fastest selling console ever now, right? But there's still so many people that are fighting to get one. So you can't make yourself look any worse than you already do right now.
Even your successes are a problem,
Yep.
You're the games people right now, all right? You don't have an abundance of new games for the PS5. You have a lot of games compared to Xbox that doesn't have any. But, you have Miles Morales. That's also available on PS4. I think it's a fine PS5 game. So, the fact that it's also available on PS4 is not a huge hit to me, because I think it is a worthy PS5 game. I platinumed it. You have Demon Souls, which is an amazing PS5 game, only available on the PS5. But again, the contrarian will tell you that is a remake. It's not a new game. It's a remaster or not a remaster, a remake, full remake of an old game. So it's like, well, you got that. You got Returnal coming. That's going to be huge. You got Ratchet and Clank. You got all this stuff coming down the pike, and we don't have really anything except Halo coming down for Xbox. And I know a lot of people say, well, that's bigger than those three combined. But I would say, first of all, I don't know if it's as big as it was in the Halo 2, Halo 3 days when it was huge.
Yeah, you're not going to hear me say that shit. I loved Halo, man. I was a big Halo fan. Halo 1, Halo 2, and then a 3 and onward just started getting worse and worse for me, and I just lost my care enough to stop having an Xbox after 3, So
yeah, exactly. So, I don't know if Halo is just going to be able to take, Ratchet and Clank, Returnal, Demon Souls, and just like, and like just take all three of those on at once. I don't think Halo is that big, especially in this new one. I mean, the Halo people didn't like anything about the reveal, and then they had to go back to the drawing board. So, but having said that, that is your advantage, and the more we wait, the closer these games are coming to actually starting to come. But in the meantime, you don't need bad press for no reason. All right. And the games, the storefronts got active. When this news came out, people started buying games that they didn't think they were ever going to buy. They were going to be able to buy. They started buying games like Suikoden 2 and freaking there are even some Sony games that were just like not going to be able to be purchased anymore. Because they're only on PS3 stores or Vita. And so there are people making Vita games that like were just like, what do we do now? The Vita's like basically dead, but it's people still play on there. So, again, I talked about the risk versus the reward. And obviously I talked about how it is not free to keep these stores up, but it is not worth the backlash. It is not worth the negative. Even if most people don't care, more people are going to talk about it than care. Yeah, that's the fact about it. And it's a negative thing for Sony. They don't need any negative things. And so I said that, okay, it is not free to keep these up. There's a cost, but the costs do not outweigh the negatives as shutting it down will. And I know I'm right now because they backpedaled, they moonwalked, they walked it back, sick backpedal, Sony, and they just decided, well, we're not going to do this. So if after a week, 2 weeks of backlash, you decided that you don't have to do it, well, then you didn't really need to do it in the first place.
Okay, so I'm not going to...
You didn't really need to do it in the first place.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but at the same time, I will say, after we talked about this, what was it, last week? Or the week before, I can't remember.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
I've been hearing a lot of different news outlets and other podcasters talking about and having shows dedicated to telling people, hey, you need to go buy these games right now because you'll never get them again. So do you think that perhaps... the money they just made from all of these people was enough of a boon for them to not have to worry about the costs of this for the next 5 years? So now they're like, all right, well, we just got a lot of money, so we can keep it open.
Yeah, I mean, I think they can keep it open anyway. I don't think
I agree, but I mean, now that they just got a huge surge from people that really thought they were never going to get these games, so you got people buying a bunch of games just to make sure they still have them. I mean, they just made a big profit off of some news that they announced that they now backpedaled on. So was that just a ploy to get some money?
Well, that would be as evil as it would be smart. But I don't think they did that. I honestly think that more so than the money they got, they realized people do care.
Well, and that's a good thing too.
What I think they realized.
So if they realize that, that's a great thing, right? At the same time,
they expected that.
At the same time, they could also do a good faith. If they did really learn that lesson, they could do a good faith thing and say, okay, all games will be free on these stores. Yeah, like Game Pass, right? Or maybe not free, but you pay like Game Pass. You pay a certain monthly fee, and you can play all the Vita games that are on this storefront. You can play all the PS3 games that are on this storefront. No?
That would cost a lot of money.
Oh wow.
I mean, Game Pass is costing Microsoft a lot of money. Microsoft just has the money to do it.
No, okay.
Like these developers who put their games on Game Pass, they're getting money for it.
Do you think Game Pass is going to be something that lasts for a long time? Or do you think maybe they're just using it right now to keep them afloat long enough and people wanting to buy an Xbox long enough till they start releasing some of these games that are allegedly in the works with different studios?
So, I say Game Pass is going to last as long as the Xbox lasts. And I think that's going to be a long time. I think Microsoft, now look, they bought new studios. They got them making games. They bought Bethesda. We know that. So I don't think for long they're going to be the Xbox has no games place anymore like they were in the previous generation. But they still cannot keep up with the quality of games that Sony has. They still can't keep up with the quantity of games Sony has. I mean, there are so many games that are second party or even third party that are exclusive to PS4 or PlayStation consoles that Sony doesn't even make. Dragon Quest 11 and Persona 4 are huge games. When they released, like I think they might be on PC now, but when they released, they were PlayStation 4 exclusives. Sony doesn't have to do anything. They just have some of these games that don't even come to the Xbox, and so that's not even counting the exclusive games. And so I think what happened was at the end of the once they got Don Matrick out of there, at the end of the Microsoft or the Xbox One kind of generation, at the tail end, Microsoft pivoted and they said, you know what, we're going all in on the Netflix style subscription service, and that's going to be Game Pass. And I think they're 100% committed to this. It is losing them a ton of money, but they think it's going to make up for it in sales. It's kind of like Sony spends a whole bunch of money making AAA blockbusters like God of War and The Last of Us and Horizon, and they sell 10 to 15 million units. They make them a lot of money, but where they really make their money is they sell systems. They move units, because they could just have Call of Duty and Madden, and the profits off of that, they're a little 30% if they want to make money. And they get all of the profits for a first-party game, obviously, because it's their game. It's going to make them money, but really the whole thing is selling systems. So Sony uses their first party to sell systems. They say, hey, you're a gamer, right? You want to play games. Well, hey, you can play Call of Duty on Microsoft. You can play Call of Duty on PlayStation. But on PlayStation, you can play Uncharted. You can't do that on Microsoft. You can play Last of Us. You can play all the stuff that you want to play on Microsoft on Xbox, and you can play our stuff. We release 2 to 3 AAA games a year. So buy a PlayStation. Yeah. And that worked. They beat them basically 3-1 last generation. So it definitely worked. Well, and so Microsoft, their whole thing to sell systems is Game Pass. And Game Pass, there's no way Game Pass is profitable. It can't be. But Microsoft has deep pockets, as we know. I don't think Sony I think Sony might come out with their own Game Pass, but I just don't know how they're going to be able to do it because it costs Microsoft so much money. But first of all, they get to be the pro consumer people. All right. Again, Sony, Nintendo, Microsoft, these are businesses. They are happy to make you happy as a customer as long as you're paying them money. Yeah. So the fact that this whole pro-consumer Sony, pro-consumer Microsoft, anti-consumer practices, all of this stuff is just buzzwords thrown around by fanboys mainly. It's like Sony isn't anti-consumer because they didn't want to share their systems with Microsoft. Like they didn't want crossplay. They're not anti-consumer. All right? they would have been happy to do crossplay back in the PS3 era when they were getting their asses beat. But Microsoft was like, no. But now that Microsoft is losing, oh yeah, we'll share with Sony. Sony's the one that doesn't want to share with us. No. It's so transparent, and all you have to do is have like a longer memory than like 2 or 3 years. But they get to be the pro consumer people because they're like, look at how much value we're giving you. You just pay us whatever. I don't know how much Game Pass is, $10, $15 a month, and you get all these games. And if you like playing games that way, it's just a good deal. It's just like an empirically good deal. If you like to own your games, if you like to play one big game or 2 big games a month, if you're not playing, 6-8 games a month or whatever, then it's like, well, what games do you have? But if you like playing 360 and Xbox One and Xbox One or Xbox Series X games all on one, then Game Pass, and then they have the third-party games, including the show.
Speaking of units, Jim Ryan says Sony is trying to increase the PS5 supply. Quote, there are several reasons why PS5 was hard to come by, Ryan said. Supply under the new coronavirus was very complicated, and we had to limit distribution to online. The supply and demand for semiconductors is also tight worldwide. We are asking our suppliers to allow us to increase production, which will flow into the market this year. The Semiconductor Industry Association said last December that chip sales would grow 8.4% in 2021 from 2020's total of 433 billion. PlayStation and SIE are far from the only company desperately trying to catch up in demand for the semiconductor-based tech. Apple CEO Tim Cook told Reuters that semiconductors are very tight and that Apple has struggled to keep up with demand for iPhones. What you got?
So that tells me a few things. First, what we already knew. These chips are scarce, and that's why these systems haven't been made, more of them. Secondly, it tells me that Apple, which is a much bigger company than Sony, and the iPhone, which is a big deal for them, if they can't make enough iPhones to satiate demand, then Sony's not going to have much chance to make enough PS5s. I mean, that's just like, because Apple can afford to pay way more for them than Sony can. And the makers of these chips are definitely going to take that money. But this time, not this time last year, but a few months ago, I really thought that, we're in freaking April. I thought by now you'd be able to walk into a store and pick up one. I really did. Now I don't think that's going to happen until hopefully the fall, maybe this time next year, maybe early Q1 2022. Because
man, I'd love to have one before Christmas, but
like this is good news, right? They're trying to make more, but it's like really all they're telling us is why they can't make more. That's really all this is telling us, and so
I don't believe it until I see it. But thanks anyway. All right.
Yeah.
Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic remake reportedly coming from Port Studio Asper. IGN states a remake of the 2003 BioWare RPG Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is reportedly in the works at Port Studio Asper Media. The news was revealed by Bloomberg reporter Jason Schreier during an interview with Ben Hansen of MinMax. Quote, this is public at this point. I basically confirmed that. Asper, which is the company that has ported a bunch of KOTOR games, is working on the remake, Schreier said. Eurogamer subsequently backed up that assertion, saying that it had heard of Asper's involvement. Quote, while the developer is known for often releasing straight ports, work is currently underway to make the project more of a remake instead. Asper has recently released a number of Star Wars ports, most recently the PS4 and Switch versions of Star Wars Republic Commando. What you got?
So firstly, I believe Asper were the ones that ported Knights of the Old Republic to the phone, the one phone, to mobile devices. It works well. I actually have it. It works well. They did a good job. I don't know about their other ports, but the fact that this is a remake and not a remaster tells me. And there's been some rumors that I've been hearing that it might be more of an action RPG. Knights of the Old Republic is one of the few games in the history of Xbox that I wish came to PlayStation and didn't. It's an amazing game with an amazing story, and as soon as this game is revealed, it's going to the top of my most wanted list. I am going to buy it.
Wow.
I've never played through it all the way, but I know a lot of the story beats. There was a YouTube video that just like made a movie out of it. So I just like watched the movie one day, and it was good. And so they make a remaster out of this. You know, I'll play through it. I mean, these characters, you know, HK. I mean, these characters are pretty big in Star Wars. Revan, like so many characters. I mean, just really so many characters. Such a good story. One of the best video game stories of all time. I would just say that it really is. And one of the best Star Wars games of all time. I would say it's easily top 3. It's beloved, and of course, made by BioWare. They made the story, so you know it's good.
Yep.
That was classic BioWare. That was the BioWare that gave BioWare the BioWare name. I'm saying BioWare a lot, but you get my point. It is very exciting news. I hope that it comes soon.
Yeah, I'd love to see this. I would really, if it's a Knights of the Old Republic remake, down. I would get that. Yeah. I agree with you, day one. So, next up, lastly, rumor. I always love when things start with a rumor. New Castlevania game in discussion with Sony and Konami. Games Rant states that in the past few years, Konami has shown a general unwillingness to release new games, and as a result, many of its established franchises have been left dormant. This includes everything from Metal Gear Solid to Silent Hill, as well as the Castlevania games. There hasn't been a main series Castlevania game since 2014's Castlevania, Lords of Shadow 2, but a recent rumor may give Castlevania fans hope. Leaker Catharsis T was recently asked if Sony is working on a new Castlevania game, amid rumors that the company is making a Silent Hill PS5 exclusive game and a Metal Gear Solid remake. Catharsis T responded by saying that Sony and Konami were, quote, in discussion when it comes to the Castlevania series, but that's the extent of their knowledge. I hate rumors. Why even write an article about a rumor? Stupid. I hate rumors, but okay, what do you think?
Oh, you hate rumors.
I hate rumors.
I like rumors. There's so much possibility.
Stupid. Yeah, there's so much, too much possibility if you ask me, but all right.
That's true. You just kind of have to know what seems real and what seems not.
Hey guys, rumor alert. I just found out from a leaker, I'm not telling you his name, they're making a Metroid game right now. So.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, yep. See, I don't believe
Get excited, everyone. Get excited. No,
Nintendo hates Metroid fans, so...
Yeah, this is true.
Are you a Metroid fan?
I'm a huge Metroid fan. Love
Would that
Metroid.
make you happy?
A Metroid movie?
No, a new Metroid game.
Oh, man, yeah. Metroid Prime 4. I'm ready for it. Let's go.
Oh, okay. Anyway, I think there's a lot of smoke here. I think Sony and Konami, there's a lot of rumors, a whole bunch, has been for a while. You know, first of all, Konami is wholly, what this article said is true. They are wholly uninterested in making games. They're about their pachinko machines and whatever else they're doing over there. It's such a big company with sports, freaking treadmills. I don't know. They do so much over there. But making games, they have all these iconic IPs. They don't really seem like they want to sell them. I think it would be smart for them if they're like, hey, you know what? Sony is going to give us a whole bunch of money to exclusively make games for these IPs, Castlevania, Metal Gear, and the like, for stuff that
people
we're not doing anything. Yeah. We're not doing anything with, and people want. Yeah. So, you know, we don't have to staff anybody. We don't have to, you know, build up a studio and do it ourselves. We'll just give Sony some money, you know, or rather Sony gives us some money in order to make these games. And I mean, I think that'd be smart for them.
Yeah, I tell you, I'd give them money for every one of the things that were mentioned here. I'd give them money for Castlevania. I'd give them money for Silent Hill. I'd give them money for Metal Gear Solid. I'd give them money. So,
yeah.
And do you want money or not? I don't know. So
it's interesting because Kojima Productions are very, very close with Sony right now. They have a partnership, but you know, he's not Kojima Productions is not a first-party studio. Sony might think about buying them before Microsoft swoops in with their giant bag of money, or they're keeping their Scrooge McDucky and Bolt. But yeah, I know Kojima doesn't want to do Metal Gear. I feel like he hasn't want
to do Metal Gear in a while. Yeah,
the last 3 Metal Gears. But it would be interesting if like Sony makes a Metal Gear and Kojima is not a part of it. I mean, I think he's working on another game, something else.
Yeah,
but it'd just be interesting because like then Metal Gear survive. Metal Gear without Kojima is just like weird. I can have Castlevania and Silent Hills, but Metal Gear without Kojima is just kind of weird, man. Although Revengeance, people like that, Platinum, but like I don't know, it's kind of hit and miss without Kojima. Like his brand, it's such a mix of like serious and wacky and over the top, but also, you know, it's like it's almost like it's so smart and then also so dumb. It's so crazy, man. It's like it's such a weird mix that only he can really pull off.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. But Castlevania, the main thing, a lot of people. Castlevania is has a huge fan base.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't put anything out in 7 years, like you said. It's gonna be. I don't know, man. I think it's gonna happen.
I think it's bound to happen eventually. I just don't.
Why not?
I don't think anyone should really start, put too much into this right now. I think maybe be excited. Yeah, maybe be excited when they're like, okay, yeah, here's a Castlevania game. Here's a trailer. It's coming out, and then you can be like, okay, this rumor stuff.
They aren't doing anything else, Konami. Yeah. The only reason I think this rumor, the only reason I give it a little bit more credence, is because there's a lot of smoke around Konami and Sony. There's a lot of smoke. And when there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's blow that smoke away from us. I don't need any of that. So Anre wants to give a tip of the crown to the Biomutant trailer. What do you got?
Yeah, real quickly, man. Biomutant is a game that we've been looking forward to for quite some time. Mm-hmm. We've been seeing some, the gameplay looks fun. It looked fast, frenetic. It's about this small little rodent character, bipedal rodent. I don't know. But they had a world trailer the other day, and it looked very good, very expansive, very fun. It's only like 2 minutes. You check it out on YouTube. This game is coming out in about a month. It's coming out late March, late May, like May 29th.
Yeah, finally, because if everyone didn't know, this game has been begging to come out for a very, 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 very long time, and I was looking forward to it for quite some time. But, I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about THQ Nordic because I don't really care for their games. I don't, but maybe this one might be the one that says to me, okay, I like this. They're moving in a direction of gameplay and style that I do like. So I'm excited to check it out. I will look at the trailer myself so that I can see what I think. But
this is one of those games I've been lurking.
Yeah,
like kind of like you. I don't really care too much for THQ. Nordic or really any of them. But I've just been like, that's good. It's kind of one of those games I want to see how previews do. I want to see how everything I've seen of it, the gameplay looks like, oh, okay, good. It's coming out on PS4 and Xbox One, so it's not on next gen. But yeah, it'll be interesting. We'll see what the reviews are like. It's not one of those where I'm like day one.
Right, definitely, I agree.
Returnal, day one.
Excited for that.
If we give a mini tip of the cap, Returnal, everything is looking like this is going to be one of the first big next gen games. Like, looks very, very good, and the people that have played it are saying a lot of good things about it. So keep an eye out on Housemarque's Returnal.
Yeah, I'm super, super excited for that one. Hope I get a PS5. Not likely, so I'll never play it. But anyway, that leads us into the new releases for next week. We have Alpha Particle on April 28th for PC. Cool. Genshin Impact, PS5, April 28th. A lot of people really like this free-to-play game. Cool.
I play Genshin Impact. I have played it. I played it on PS4. It is fun. It is like Legend or what?
It's like Breath of the Wild. A lot of people
Thank
say,
you. Yeah,
but
a
you
lot of
play it
people say it's like Breath
multiplayer,
of the
right?
Wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Breath of the Wild mixed with JRPGs,
Magic powers and things, and you can
yeah,
combine
and
these powers,
it's free.
right?
It's free. It's a gacha game, which means you can spend a lot of money in it, but you can play for hundreds of hours without spending anything in it. So, I'd check it out.
Okay. Layers of Fear VR, PSVR edition, April 29th. Not sure what that is, but I'm scared. Legend of Keepers, PC, Switch, Stadia, April 29th.
A lot of Legends.
Yeah.
A lot of Legends lately.
I don't know why Zelda isn't in here, but I would waiting for that one. Total War, Rome Remastered, PC, April 29th. Cool. New Pokemon Snap for the Switch, April 30th. And last but not least, the most important one on the list, we already spoke about it, Returnal, April 30th. Stoked on that. Anything else you want to say about Returnal while we're here?
If you like roguelikes, if you like bullet hell, if you like Housemarque games like Resogun, I would check it out. Okay. And if you're not sure if you like it, just wait for the reviews. The previews are all generally very positive. I like what I've seen of the progression system, the weapons, the enemies, and it's one of those games. It seems like I'm excited for it. Excited for it. Check it out for yourself.
Yeah, real stoked. That would be a day one buy for me, but Sony does not want my money. Next up, we are going to sale items on Steam this week. We got Death Stranding is 60% off. If you haven't played this game yet, it's a fantastic experience. Definitely check it out if you want to be a space dimension flying through UPS delivery man. It's crazy. Yeah, it's out there. It's amazing. It's everything Kojima. It's awesome. Check it out. Neo 2, the complete edition, is 20% off. Anre and I played a shitload of Neo 2. We really loved this game. We had a lot of fun with it. Highly recommend this no matter where you play it.
Also, very good.
Yep. Also, The Avengers, 60% off right now. So if you want some terrible multiplayer and a good story, make sure to grab that. All right, Epic Store this week. Alien Isolation is free. I played this game on the PS4. Really had a great time with it. It was a lot of fun. Really scary. Excellent Alien game. Probably the best Alien game that's been made. So check out that. It's free. Free. Okay, on the Switch, we've got Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the complete edition. It's on sale right now for $11.99. We talked about Scott Pilgrim. It's a Streets of Rage style beat 'em up. Really cool. So if you're interested in that, it's $11.99 right now. Also, another one I was interested in is Carrion. Carrion is the game that the developers call it's from Devolver Digital, which is a really good company. I really enjoy a lot of their work. And they call this game a reverse horror story. You basically play as this blob that just needs to destroy everything and exit out of this facility while evolving to terrorize and kill stuff. So it looks really cool, really fun. That's on sale right now for $13.39. Anre, what do you have over there on the PlayStation? Anything cool, fun, or interesting?
We're still in the spring sale. There are many, many games. Nothing new this week. I think maybe it updates every 2 weeks or something. I'm not sure. But I did see a few games that I wanted to highlight. Firstly, Hitman 2 is 80% off. Wow. I mean, it's usually $60. It is $12 right now. Fallout 4 Game of the Year Edition is 67% off. It is usually full $60. It is about $20 right now, $19.79. Fallout 4 is a game I really, really enjoyed. Yep. Did not platinum it because I do not like doing the settlement thing, but I believe you did platinum it, if I'm not mistaken.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have a PlayStation to take a look right now.
Yeah,
so
you can't check, obviously. Yeah. Kingdom Come Deliverance. This is a game that came out with a little bit of controversy a few years ago, but it's a very realistic medieval RPG, first-person RPG. It is not a Skyrim. You're not going to see any dragons. You are not going to see any magic. You are just going to see swords and maces and shields, and it's very hardcore survival. Like, you gotta drink, and it's very easy to die if you let swords hit you. You can't do that.
You can't do that, man. Can't take arrows to the knee. Can't take swords to the face.
Oh yeah, you'll probably be like laid up for a week if you take an arrow to the knee, and then you'll have to become a guard at Whiterun. So don't do that. But yeah, it's 70% off right now. Okay. So it's about $12. It was $40. So
wow.
If you're interested in Kingdom Come Deliverance, then check it out. See what the notorious game. See how it actually came out. And Mafia 2 Definitive Edition, half off, 50% for those of you that don't math. It used to be 30, and now it's 15. Mafia 2 is one of the games that is very beloved.
Yeah, Mafia game's good.
Fans, yeah. So $15 is a good price point.
Yeah, if you need a GTA style game with a good story, check it out. Right?
Yeah.
Is that all? Is that wrap it up for your? Well, all right, ladies and gentlemen, that sums it up for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, rate, and subscribe. It really helps us. We need people to see what we got going on. Now, Anre, I did notice your Sonic the Hedgehog poster. Do you think I see his foot anyway. Do you think Sonic should have been a movie? Do you think that should have been a movie?
So I haven't seen the new Sonic movie, which is crazy, but I heard it was very good. I heard Jim Carrey's great in it. I think Cyclops is in it, the actor anyway, not actual Cyclops. But yeah, once they redesigned them, I was actually like, okay, I might watch this one day, and I might. Because the first design was absolutely terrifying.
Well, whoever watches it, if you don't watch it, if you do watch it, it doesn't matter because, we may be crown king, but everyone's royalty here.
Everyone.
Hey, bye.